So regarding the recession, how cognitive do you think Joe Biden is, literally? Do you think he's driving anything? Do you think he has any original ideas whatsoever? Because here's my thought. There's no way in hell he's on the ticket in 2024, and he knows it. So I think if he's cognitive enough that he's thinking about legacy right now, he spent his whole life in government, and I think it's his motivation is to not be the worst president. So he's making day-to-day survival decisions, not leadership decisions, because he's trending to be as bad as Jimmy Carter. I mean, that's who you compare him to right now. So my question is, do you think is he calling the shots on any of this? Or is he just back, hopefully reading the prompter and not screwing that up?
I mean, I think that he's waking up in the morning to a B12 shot, and his handlers and their whole goal is for him not to say something stupid. I don't think anything's coming out of him. I think it's his corrupt team that's pushing this progressive narrative. I mean, all the data's there. Like when he has a cue card telling him where to sit at your chair, and you have to capitalize your. I mean, at this point, you're not even coherent. And I was making fun of it there for a while, but to me, as like an American, and I love this country like my family. It is my family. It's given me everything. It's terrifying. It's absolutely fucking terrifying. And then when everybody goes, hey, well, he needs to step down, I'm like, so you want Kamala Harris in there? Like, it's just it's bad form right now. And
bro, I don't even think Democrats want him to step down because they're afraid Kamala to run it, because it's even going to be worse. No, notice how much they hide Kamala from the camera.
Yeah.
So it's not like, I know
you can't find her anywhere these days.
No, but by the way, you know what? I knew a lot of good friends in high school and in middle school and junior high school. And this is pure shout out to Kamala Harris. I had a lot of good friends that were great at hide and go seek. She's the champion. I mean, I've never met anybody that's good as she is at it.
Do you think, like what's your opinion on Biden right now? Because, I mean, where does it go? So
for me, I've said this many times. I think in life, in companies, the sooner you realize whether you are a number one, a number two, a number three, a number four, or a number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, the better you're going to do. If you plug in an 8 to be the one, that company is going to collapse. If you put a 1 in a 7, you're underutilizing the 1, and eventually that 7's going to leave and be a 1 elsewhere, okay? But a 1 is a 1, and a 5 is a 5. And you just have to understand that. It took Carmelo years to realize that you want to win a championship, you're not going to win as a 1. AI didn't win as a 1, okay?
Westbrook.
So you have to know, and by the way, this is by far one of the hardest thing to embrace. It's the hardest thing to embrace, to know that you're not a 1, okay? So Biden, to me, I think Bernie Sanders is more a 1 than he's a number 1. I know this sounds weird, but forget about being a socialist. I think Sanders is in the socialist community, he is a 1. I think in the Democratic policies, I don't think he's a 1. I think there's plenty of guys that would be better 1s than he would be. So I don't see the guy as a leader. I see him as a potential number 2, number 3. I think 2 is even high. I think he's a number 3, 4, 5 guy.
Do you think the administration has a responsibility to tell the American public his health? Or
you saw the interview with Pete? Did you see the interview with Pete when Pete was being pushed yesterday? I don't know if you guys saw that or not.
Pete Buttigieg?
Did you see that or no? He was being pushed yesterday. And he says, hey, I don't know who was pushing him, but he was asking very good questions. He says, listen, in 2019, you posed the question that you don't think President Trump was mentally fit to run America. And President Trump wasn't stumbling, and then he shows all these pictures. By the way, you have to see this interview. You know, we'll find it and we'll post it. And he says, President Trump wasn't stumbling. President Trump wasn't shaking hands with ghosts. President Trump wasn't being told where to sit. President Trump wasn't doing any of that stuff. How come you're not publicly calling out the mental fitness of Joe Biden as you did of Trump, and it's 10 times worse? And obviously, Pete Buttigieg says, I can see the level of insult in your question, so I will dismiss that. He says, no, you can't do that. You said President Trump 3 years ago wasn't mentally fit to run the country, and he never went through what this guy's going through. He says, well, I'd love to see President Trump ride a bicycle. That's what he said about the fact that...
Yeah. There was a doctor that came out and said the same thing, a doctor that treated Trump and Biden.
And he said what? What was the consensus?
Same thing. I think it was the exact same question.
But that's how they respond, right? You put a cat in a bathtub and they just react with violence or anger, and then no logic. Just answer the question. You see this everywhere. You see Shapiro put guys in that position. You see all these, and they just can't respond. They get mad and say, "Well, that's offensive," and walk out of the interview. Like, that's not debate. That's just you being a child.
Here's my question.
You lost.
If,
that's what
You
that is.
lost.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If Biden is better as a number 2, which I actually fully agree with, I don't think he's.
Well, he
I
can
think
cut his side deals.
I think
then.
he's the accidental president. The timing, COVID, Trump, exactly. His polling wasn't obviously doing so great. Biden, he was more the conservative Democrat, not the leftist Bernie Sanders. But would you have a problem if, in fact, Obama was helping him call the shots behind the scenes, or even a Susan Rice? I think that gives me a lot more comfort if someone, quote unquote, grown up in the room was actually helping run the government rather than Biden, meaning he's not exactly who you want in charge. Or do you want him in charge because he is the president? I don't have a problem if, quote unquote, his handlers. I don't think it's like the daycare staff. I think it's Susan Rice. I think it's Secretary of State. I think it's Tony Blinken. I think there's some people around him who I do trust enough to control the government. So do you have a problem if it's Obama actually calling the shots?
Let me ask you a question. Do you think if you're in my ear, you can help me be a better basketball player?
Yeah, I can.
You think you can do that?
I can show you form.
You can show me form.
Just like if he was in my ear, he'd probably help me be a better shooter.
But no matter how much you're in my ear, can you help me play in the NBA?
No, sir.
Why not?
Some things you just can't teach.
What if Jordan's in my ear? Let's say Jordan every day spends 2 hours in my ear telling me how to be a better basketball player. Am I going in the NBA?
Probably not the NBA, but your mentality would probably get a lot stronger.
The point is, everybody has limitations in different areas of life. President Biden's limitation at best is a VP of Ops, not a president.
I'm with you
So
on that.
even the point I'm trying to make to you is, I can go and talk to a VP of Ops to be the CEO of an insurance company, and no matter what I tell that VP of Ops in his ear, he's not going to be able to execute. There's a lot of experiences you need to be a leader, and Biden just doesn't have it today. Maybe 30 years ago, I don't know. Maybe it would have been different if his mental fitness was different. But he doesn't have the capacity today to be a president.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.